Have you ever wondered what would happen if you touched mercury? Mercury is a liquid metal with a mesmerizing silvery appearance that has captivated scientists and curious minds for centuries. But beneath its beauty lies a dangerous reality. So, what exactly is mercury? Why is it so toxic? And what really happens if you touch it? Let's dive in. Mercury, known as Hg on the periodic table, is one of the most unique elements in nature. It's the only metal that's liquid at room temperature, with a melting point of 38.83 degrees, 37.89 degrees. This means that unless you lower its temperature dramatically, mercury remains in its iconic liquid form. Its unusual properties have made it useful in many applications over the years, from thermometers and barometers to industrial and scientific instruments. Mercury is also incredibly dense. Even a small amount feels surprisingly heavy. However, despite its usefulness, mercury has a dark side. It's highly toxic to humans and the environment. If you were to touch pure mercury with your bare hands, you wouldn't immediately suffer any visible effects. Mercury doesn't easily absorb through the skin. However, that doesn't mean it's safe. Mercury has a dangerous property. It evaporates at room temperature, releasing invisible vapors into the air. If inhaled over time, these vapors can accumulate in the body, leading to mercury poisoning. This is why even small amounts of spilled mercury can become a major hazard, especially in poorly ventilated spaces. Mercury vapor is particularly harmful because it attacks the nervous system. Breathing in these vapors over a prolonged period can lead to symptoms such as headaches, tremors, memory loss, and difficulty concentrating. In severe cases, mercury exposure can cause irreversible damage to the brain, kidneys, and other vital organs. While touching mercury might seem harmless, the real danger lies in the air around it. Another way mercury exposure occurs is through food. Methylmercury, a highly toxic compound, accumulates in the food chain, particularly in fish and seafood. Predatory fish like tuna and swordfish often contain higher levels of mercury because they feed on smaller fish that have already absorbed it. This is why many health guidelines recommend limiting consumption of these types of fish, especially for pregnant women and children. Long-term exposure to mercury through contaminated food can cause serious neurological and developmental issues. Mercury has also played a controversial role in dentistry. For decades, it was a key ingredient in dental amalgams, the silver-colored fillings used to repair cavities. These fillings are made of a mixture of mercury, silver, tin, and copper. While dental amalgams have been praised for their durability, concerns about mercury exposure have led many countries to regulate or reduce their use, especially for vulnerable populations. History provides some tragic examples of mercury's devastating effects. One of the most infamous is the Minamata disaster in Japan during the 1950s. Factories released mercury into nearby waters, contaminating fish that local communities relied on for food. Over time, residents developed severe symptoms, including muscle weakness, numbness, and loss of motor control. This tragic event, now known as minamata disease, highlighted the dangers of mercury pollution and spurred global action to regulate its use and disposal. Despite its toxicity, mercury is still used today in some specialized applications. It's found in fluorescent lights, certain batteries, and scientific instruments. In these cases, strict safety protocols are followed to minimize exposure. Scientists working with mercury use protective gloves, ventilation systems, and air quality monitors. Improper disposal of mercury can have devastating environmental consequences. When spilled or thrown away carelessly, mercury can contaminate water sources, harming aquatic life and eventually entering the food chain. This poses a threat not just to individual ecosystems, but to global health and biodiversity. That's why mercury is now classified as a hazardous material, and its disposal is carefully regulated. What about you? Would you dare to touch mercury, knowing the risks? Or would you admire its fascinating properties from a safe distance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this topic as intriguing as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating science topics and curious questions. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.